So the next video we're gonna get into, man, is the 20 scariest things captured in morgues and hospitals. Now, don't lie. You know morgues go without saying. We know that's probably one of the most haunted, scariest, eerie feeling places to exist. Morgues, that's a given. Hospitals, I don't think hospitals get enough credit for how creepy they are, bro. You go down some of those wings in the hospital, different places, little dark areas, bro, it could get creepy. Trust me, I've seen them, all right? But we're gonna get into this video next. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and spam that like button. Let's get to the craziness.
Number 20. Ghost patient moving wheelchair. Now, I don't know about you, but I would stop working the graveyard shift in a hospital if this was the very first thing that I saw in the security cam during my first shift. In this clip, you can see what's outside the hospital lobby. It looks normal at first glance, but then, out of nowhere, one of the wheelchairs out front starts moving. No one's pushing it, no strings attached, and you definitely can't blame the wind for its motion. After all, if that's the case, then the other wheelchair beside it should have moved as well. So is this a prank, a spirit, or a poltergeist at play? Now, I'm no paranormal expert, but based solely on my experience from watching a lot of horror movies, I think that this creepy phenomena can be attributed to a poltergeist. So, what's a poltergeist? The term comes from Germany, and it means noisy ghosts, and that's pretty self-explanatory.
I'm gonna tell you why this clip right here, or clips like these, are creepy. It's because you make it real in your mind. Most people recall going to a hospital and seeing somebody wheel themselves out just to go outside to do what? Go to like the little smoking area, then they go back in. So when you see this, you think back to all those times you pulled up to a hospital and seen somebody sitting out front in a wheelchair, just moving the wheelchair around themselves. That's what makes this so creepy and eerie to me.
Poltergeists are known to be a bit more active, unlike other supernatural entities. If objects move or get tossed around for no apparent reason, some people think a poltergeist might be behind it. So this moving wheelchair in the hospital? It could be one of those moments where a poltergeist decides to make its presence known. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now. Number 19. Ghost spying on hospital worker. We all know that hospitals are associated with death, loss, agony, and of course, ghosts. Well, sometimes hospitals are also the symbol of new life and beginning. But let's face it, in most cases, we'll always dwell on the negative. But why does the hospital have a bad reputation and a strong association with ghosts? Well, for the most part, it's because hospitals are filled with intense emotions. The joy of the birth of a newborn, a grandparent's final goodbye. These buildings often have different extreme emotions.
And that's the thing. Hospitals, they bring life into the world, and also death happens there. So you got both ends of the spectrum at one location. I think that's another reason we don't think about why they seem so haunted. You know what I mean? They bring life in and life leaves there. So it's interesting.
Inside. Now, many believe that these intense emotions, especially ones tied to pain or sudden departures, can leave an imprint or energy behind. These could be spaces where energy gets trapped, leading some to feel or even see ghostly presences. These emotions might also serve as an anchor for ghosts and spirits to stay. Just take a look at this clip captured by a security camera outside a hospital. How much would you need to be offered to take a caretaker position for a hospital if this was the first thing they disclosed to you? Would you still accept the job, or would you turn it down? If a ghost stalked me while I was working, I wouldn't accept the job even if the paycheck was $30,000 a month. I'd rather work for a tedious 9-to-5 job than risk being possessed. Number 17. Drawings from mental asylum patients.
Whoa.
Alright, let's take a look at these 3 drawings. Now, I don't know about you, but I instantly get creeped out by these sketches. If you're not scared or intimidated by them just yet, then perhaps hearing the backstory of these sketches will change your mind. They're all from asylum patients.
I didn't even know you can access that type of stuff. I always wondered, where would they put that type of stuff? Drawings from people from an asylum? Well, I thought that was just always kept locked up somewhere we would never have access. So to see some of this, yeah, this is beyond creepy here.
And yep, they're a bit creepy, aren't they? These
Yes.
humanoid figures with weird, spooky details, it makes you wonder, why draw something like this? Well, when someone's dealing with a mental illness, they might see or feel things differently than the rest of us. Drawing can be a way to show what's going on inside their heads. Maybe these eerie figures are how they see themselves, or maybe it's how they see the world around them. Or perhaps these drawings are real entities that we're just too sane to see. Well, that's a creepy thought that I won't dare entertain further. Number 16. Guard greeting ghost patient. Here we have a seemingly ordinary clip from a hospital security camera. The lighting in this clip doesn't look eerie, and to be honest with you, I didn't feel a malevolent energy while watching this clip for the first time, but perhaps this spirit isn't an evil one. Just take a look at this clip closely. Here, you can see a security guard sitting in the reception near the hospital's entrance, ensuring no bad people enter the establishment. But I guess spirits are welcome? This is the exact reason why I don't want to take a graveyard shift. You see, out of the blue, the guard waved. Who's he waving to? Looks like he's even having a bit of a chat. But here's the thing, there's no one there. It's like he's talking to an invisible patient who just entered the hospital. Now, doesn't this clip make you wonder what he's seeing that the camera isn't picking up? Number 15.
I ain't gonna lie though, some of those graveyard shifts, you start to go a little bit delusional. You start to see things that you didn't think was there when you work some of those shifts, bro. I'm telling you, I used to work night shift. Oh my gosh, at a paper mill, bro. And I'm telling you, man, after working several days straight on that graveyard shift, you start to see things that wasn't there.
Shift in the hospital. Now, if the first few clips aren't enough to prove that graveyard shifts in hospitals and morgues, or anywhere else with close proximity to the deceased, is a bad idea, here's another one. This clip, shot from a guard's phone, captured a hospital lobby. Everything looks normal initially. In fact, the wheelchair is just right there, making you think this is just a clickbait clip. But wait, right until the last part of the video, and did you see that? The wheelchair starts moving all by itself, slowly heading straight for the guard. The camera flips around, and that's a clear sign that the guard decided that he didn't want to film anything further, and it's time to hightail it out of there.
Yep.
The guard claimed that they had been experiencing spooky encounters around the hospital just like this one, and this was the only time they were brave enough to capture evidence of it. Number 14.
That's when you tell them, you're like, man, I'm going to take my break and never come back from your break. You go straight home.
Nightmare Morgue. Again, I can't stress enough how terrifying it is to work in the morgue, much less on a graveyard shift. But before I show you this clip, you might want to brace yourself. This isn't from a blockbuster horror movie, but it sure feels like it. Captured by some night shift workers at a morgue, the scene is straight up eerie.
Oh, no.
You're looking at a morgue lobby in the dead of night. Now, what's strange is that the lights are flickering on and off like someone's playing with the switches. What's more, the door is slamming open and shut. And trust me, these workers surely didn't even bother trying to figure out who or what was responsible for these strange activities. I seriously salute morgue workers. Most of us would probably be out the door at the first flicker. But these guys had the guts to stay and even film the entire thing. Every night, they work in a place that many find chilling, even in broad daylight. I'd probably last a day in exchange for a hefty paycheck, but that's about it. Number 13. Tesla seeing ghosts. If you're a Tesla owner, here's a fun, or should I say unfun experiment you can try with your car next time. This clip shows that aside from the innovative function and tech Teslas boast, there's another hidden function, detecting supernatural entities and unseen pedestrians. I guess road safety is a thing even on the other side, huh? Just look at the head unit of this Tesla, showing pedestrians around the car. The problem is, there isn't a single soul in sight. The driver isn't cruising down a regular road. They're in a cemetery. And guess what's nearby? A morgue and a hospital. Yeah, pretty much the trifecta of places you'd expect to find ghosts. Could it be a glitch? Maybe. But with the haunted surroundings and the car's impeccable tech, one can't help but wonder if the Tesla might have just picked up on some supernatural entities. Number 12. The Haunted Asylum. If you've been on haunted tours before, then perhaps you already heard of the Airedale Asylum in Australia. In fact, you might have even had the chance to explore its allegedly sinister halls. Opened in 1867, it was one of the most prominent places for folks with mental health issues. And well, back then, they didn't really know how to treat people right. Like many hospitals and asylums in history, its walls bore witness to numerous tragic tales. Even though it's been closed for ages, people say it's super haunted. I mean, imagine walking through its halls and hearing whispers when nobody's there, or feeling a cold breeze when all the windows are shut.
Yeah, but when you hear about these places being haunted, you kind of shrug. You know that. You expect that. Because you know the type of things that was taking place, or you have a good idea. You know what I mean? He said in the video, they didn't know how to treat these people. So you know a lot of things was happening there that otherwise wouldn't normally happen and be done to people. Some heinous things probably took place. So you expect there's a lot of souls in there that's not resting. Let's just say that.
Gives me the creeps just thinking about it. A lot of people reckon that it's because of the many souls who suffered such a tough time in the asylum.
Yep.
Maybe they're still hanging around, trying to find justice, or perhaps another soul to torment in exchange for their treatment when they were still alive. Number 11. Invisible Patient. Here's another CCTV clip that will surely send shivers down your spine. Here, you can see the automatic doors open. The security camera clearly captures it. It's normal, except no one was there, or at least no one we can see on the camera.
Right.
Now, you can easily dismiss that as a glitch with the automatic door, but what about the security guard who seemingly greeted an invisible patient? He acted like someone just walked in. You know, they say that hospitals, being places of life and death, are kind of like crossroads for spirits. With that being said, perhaps some people who are about to pass on might kind of wander a bit, like their spirits getting ready to move on, but they're not.
Two things needed to happen here. A priest needed to be called so they could bless this area, and he needs to be fired, bro. Why? Because he just carried on a whole, it looked like he was doing his job, but nobody's there. He told the person, come on through. It's like he was standing like a bouncer at a nightclub. He checked the name and told him, come on through. No, he got to go, and this place needs to be blessed.
Not quite there yet. It makes you think, doesn't it? Like maybe that guard saw someone the camera couldn't. Or maybe, just maybe, there's a spirit in that hospital saying their last goodbyes.
Did he just go get a wheelchair for nobody as well? Oh, yeah. He got to find him another place of employment.
Number 10.
Got to.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky has a deep history dating back to the early 1900s. It opened its doors in 1910 to care for tuberculosis patients during one of the country's largest disease outbreaks. An estimated 50,000 individuals died, and their remains were transported through a 537-foot tunnel known as the Body Chute, leading to Dixie Highway. This chute was once used to discreetly transport the deceased away from the view of other patients. Now, many claim it's a hotspot for paranormal activity. Given its history and the fact that it now offers guided ghost tours, it's not surprising that Waverly Hills has garnered a reputation for being haunted. Numerous accounts have emerged over the years detailing chilling encounters, shadows that dart across walls, unexplained footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and even apparitions of patients long gone. One particularly haunting tale speaks of a nurse who, facing great despair, ended her own life within the sanatorium's walls. To this day, visitors claim to see her ghostly presence. Another story involves Timmy, a young boy tour guides say seeks companionship during the day. Legend has it that if you roll a ball to him, it often mysteriously comes back, with such a storied past and countless souls having met their end within its walls. It's no wonder many consider Waverly Hills Sanatorium to be one of the most haunted places in the entire world. Number 9. Guardian Angel. Do you believe in guardian angels? Well, perhaps this video might convince you. In this CCTV footage captured from a hospital's corridor, you can see a glowing figure moving into and out of a patient's room. It might just be the trick of the light, but what's surprising is that moments after this happened, a patient teetering on the very edge of life miraculously comes back just as doctors were about to give up hope.
I will automatically accredit it to that angel right there. You know what I mean? You give the doctors their credit too, but seeing that angel silhouette there, I'd have been like, yep, that angel just came and just saved that person, brought that person back to life.
Events lead many to ponder the existence of guardian angels. Across cultures and through centuries, people have believed in these protective spirits. They're often seen as divine messengers or guides, sent to watch over us in our most vulnerable moments. Do you believe that each one of us has guardians watching over us? Regardless of your belief, this idea seems comforting yet creepy at the same time, doesn't it? If this CCTV footage really captured a guardian angel that used its divine powers to save a young woman from untimely death, then isn't it nice to imagine that we all have this chance? However, it also makes you wonder, what do we need to do to get saved? Number 8. The Old Shawnee Hospital. Old Shawnee Hospital in Singapore stands as a stark reminder of the past. Originally built as a military hospital in the 1930s, its history was marred by the World War II era when it was seized and used by the Japanese as a prison camp. Stories of brutal treatment and executions are whispered by those who know its past. Today, it's considered one of the most haunting spots in Singapore. It's normal for visitors and locals to share tales of eerie encounters, from ghostly apparitions of soldiers to unexplained sounds echoing through its abandoned hallways. With its awful history, I'm not at all surprised that the halls of this old hospital are indeed haunted. Number 7. Playful Ghost. Here's a clip captured by a hospital worker. It's nothing too creepy at first. You can see a hospital door swinging open and shut over and over all by itself. But the thing is, the room is pitch black and there's no one inside. However, the nurse who captured this video shared that this isn't the first unsettling activity they have encountered. This is just one of the numerous inexplicable occurrences that happen regularly within these walls. For this nurse, she had enough. After capturing...
I don't blame her for keeping her distance either. Y'all notice she ain't moved down that hall a bit, right? I don't blame her, bro. She knows something ain't right. Go, turn around, go back. You got your footage and your evidence. Turn around and go back. I don't blame you.
She decided she didn't want to work there anymore. And honestly...
Smart again by her. I know she don't put her face on the camera, but we like her. We like her. She's smart. She got her evidence, and she said, I'm done here. This is it. Y'all can have this.
Who can blame her? Number 6. Angel caught on camera. Now here's more CCTV footage that left both skeptics and believers astounded. Here, you can see a glowing light that's incredibly blinding and almost obstructs the camera's view. According to the hospital workers, just like the story earlier, this light was seen in a patient's room, a man diagnosed with an incurable disease with a terrible prognosis. And yet, after this blinding light shone upon the patient, he began improving drastically day by day, almost as if a miracle happened. Now let's talk about guardian angels once again, shall we? You see, there have been a lot of stories of these ethereal beings. However, most of the time, there's no videographic evidence about their existence. Could this be a genuine guardian angel captured on film, intervening in a critical moment? But as much as this belief can be comforting, let's take a look at this video on the other side of the coin. The scientific community offers alternative explanations. Lens flares, reflections, or even a glitch in the camera's system could result in such anomalies. However, the timing and the specific nature of this incident seem rather unusual, don't they? Especially considering the patient's subsequent health improvements, which confounded medical experts. I'll let you be the judge in this case, but I'm curious about what you think, so be sure to leave your opinions in the comments down below. Number 5. Ominous sign of death. Now from here on out, I'll share some first-hand experiences of people working in the field. And trust me, there is eerie, if not more, than the clips we just saw. A user from Reddit with over 2 decades of experience working in a hospital shared this as their creepiest encounter. They claimed that the people in the hospital often saw a black figure around, and each time this shadowy figure was seen, it seemingly heralded the passing of a resident within the next 24 hours. And chillingly, another resident would often follow in less than a week. But that's not all that they shared. The user claimed that they once worked in a quaint old hospital with a capacity of about 30 beds. This hospital, with its long history, had an old morgue situated in its basement. Interestingly, there was a solitary elevator that ran from this basement right up to the main floor near the nurses' station. On most nights, this elevator would activate on its own, traveling to the main floor, where its doors would slide open, revealing no one. Each time this happened, it became an unwritten cue for the staff. They would brace themselves, because this eerie elevator incident became a sign that a patient had just passed away. The eerie part? Most of the time, it was right. What's your take on this experience? Let me know in the comments down below. Number 4. The eerie Lazarus sign. Now here's another account from an ICU nurse who shared a rather unsettling experience they had while on duty. They claimed that they were taking care of a patient who was declared brain dead. The patient's family, having decided against organ donation, chose to withdraw treatment. Following their wishes, the nurse turned off all life-sustaining equipment, like the ventilator and pumps, and then proceeded to extubate the patient. A few moments of anticipated silence later, something entirely unexpected happened. The patient, despite being clinically dead, suddenly moved, something that's known as the Lazarus sign. The deceased patient's arms eerily rose into the air on their own. Now, for those among you who have seen death, then perhaps you already know about this. The Lazarus sign, named after the biblical story of Lazarus raised from the dead by Jesus, is a reflex movement that occurs in brain-dead patients. This reflex can make it seem as if the deceased is momentarily...
I know there's an explanation for it, but I still wouldn't be able to get used to it. It still would bother me. I don't care who you are, bro. Like, even though you know it's coming, or you know it's a possibility it can happen, seeing it happen right before your eyes, yeah, that's still nothing I could ever get used to.
...momentarily coming back to life. Biologically speaking, the Lazarus sign is an involuntary reflex that occurs in response to specific stimuli, even after brain death. The reflex originates from the spinal cord, not the brain. Since we're already speaking about signs of death, here's another popular belief in several countries around the world, including the Philippines. It's believed in Filipino culture that if you're seen in the mirror or the camera without a head, this means death is upon you. Perhaps that's why many people were in...
Gosh, I could have went the rest of my life without hearing that. Oh my gosh, I could have did without hearing that. Nah, y'all heard it too, so y'all in the same boat with me. Now you're gonna think about it.
...incredibly spooked when they saw this photo of a headless doctor in the hospital's reception area.
Gosh.
If the stories were correct, then this doctor had a close brush with death that very same night. Number 3. The little girl eating ice cream. Here's another chilling story from a licensed nurse who worked in a hospital. They claimed that they worked in long-term care, where they encountered their fair share of residents nearing the end of their lives. That might sound heartbreaking, but working there also means you're bound to experience some pretty crazy stuff. Many of these individuals often claim to see rather unusual visions, typically either small dogs or children indulging in ice cream. In one particular establishment where the nurse had worked, about 7 residents, all of whom eerily passed after claiming they had seen a little girl enjoying her ice cream somewhere in the hospital facility. To add to that creepy tale, this photo was captured in the hospital, and you can clearly see what looks like an apparition of a young woman wearing a wedding dress passing through the hospital walls. Coincidence? Or is this girl somehow tied to the deaths in the hospital? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Number 2. The sound of the dead. A worker in the morgue shared the creepiest work experience, which will probably make you more thankful that your job doesn't involve dealing with dead bodies. One of the creepiest phenomena they've encountered is that on rare occasions, a body will let out a moan when being moved. Imagine you're tasked to carry and transport bodies around the morgue, and it's your first day on the job. You don't know about the strange phenomena just yet.
First and last day. Moaning? Oh no. I've heard them do release gas or have moaning though?
And just as you move a body, it suddenly lets out a moan. Now that's enough to send anyone running out of the building. But as uncanny as it sounds, it's actually a natural phenomena. You see, when a person dies, their body undergoes various post-mortem changes. As decomposition begins, gases such as methane, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide form within the body. These gases can build up in the body's cavities, especially in the lungs. When the body is moved or manipulated post-mortem, especially during autopsies or when being prepared for burial, these gases can be expelled suddenly through the mouth and nose. This gas expulsion can cause the vocal cords to vibrate, producing a sound or moan. What's more, rigor mortis, the stiffening of muscles after death, can make the body resistant to specific movements. When someone tries to move or adjust the body, the tension created due to rigor mortis can also push out the air from the lungs, leading to the moaning sound. Science might have already experienced this bizarre phenomena, but honestly, even after learning about this, I'd still never consider working in a morgue. Now here's a different theory that might unsettle you. In this photo, you can see what looks like a demon on top of a hospital bed. It seems like the particular room might have been occupied by a patient who just passed on to the other side. Could it be that the sudden noises and the sudden movement let out by the deceased are actually signs of paranormal or demonic activity? I mean, how else can you explain this photo? And now it's time for today's topic. Now this is definitely among the scariest things captured in morgues and hospitals. Let me tell you something. A friend told me this, and ever since they did, it never slipped my mind. Have you ever experienced the feeling of falling while you're trying to sleep? That sudden jolt you get when you're trying to slip away into dreamland? Well, they say that spirits often travel upward. What if that sensation of falling down is actually your spirit accidentally dropping back down into your body? A scary thought, isn't it? It definitely is for me. So what if there's some truth to this story? What if this analogy isn't just a simple analogy? This photo shows a woman lying inside a morgue, and even though she's supposed to be immobile and lifeless, you can see her sitting up with her eyes seemingly open. Now, how exactly could this happen? Perhaps this woman's spirit found its way back to its earthly vessel, or maybe it was a mistake from the doctors or the responders who declared her dead. But whichever the case is, it's definitely alarming to see a supposedly dead body suddenly move and come back to life.
See, that's why people be scared to go to sleep too. You know what I mean? They deal with insomnia, but some people are just afraid to go to sleep because of their dreams.
1. Death is a man wearing black. Now for the last entry, here's a chilling tale from a worker who posted their experience on Reddit. The user claimed they worked in a nursing facility, primarily assigned to the Alzheimer's ward. One evening, while they were in the linen room stocking up their cart, they felt something peculiar. It felt like someone had shuffled up right behind them, and then a hand gently rested on their shoulder. But when they turned around, the room was empty. The door was still firmly shut, and there wasn't a soul in sight. However, that wasn't the end of the mysterious events in the facility. Another resident, an elderly lady, began expressing her concerns about a man visiting her room late at night. Given her condition, the worker didn't initially take her claims seriously, but to put her at ease, they decided to check in on her periodically. For 2 weeks, this lady spoke of this mysterious man. Curiosity got the better of the worker one day, and they asked the elderly woman to describe the man. Her reply was unsettling. Nothing could prepare the worker when the lady told her these words. "He's quite handsome, always dressed in a black suit. Oh, and darling..."
That just sounds like death to me. To me, that screams death.
"Darling, he's standing right behind you now." Upon turning around, they saw nothing. No man in a black suit. No one at all. But that wasn't the end of it. The very next night, that elderly lady peacefully passed away in her sleep. Because of this incident, the worker believes they encountered death that day. However, several days after the woman's passing, they did capture a black figure in the hospital's halls. Could it be that this shadowy figure appears differently to those nearing death? So, do you have any morgue or
They say death is forever present. I don't know, man. You start seeing stuff like that. And then I also think about the Meet Me at the Crossroads video where the dude walked around the entire video in black, the blacked out eyes. That's what I'd be thinking. Stuff like that is happening. You know what I mean? So listen to them when they tell you stuff like that. They're not playing. Believe them. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all get at me in the comment section. I gotta go watch something positive, bro. I gotta go watch something positive after this. Something a little more upbeat. All right? So y'all stick around and stay tuned, man. Until next one, I'm gone. Peace.